Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Unhappy Campers reunion show, where we're going to talk about the making of the movie, some of our experiences during filming, and just some of the things we've shared after releasing the film. It's been 1 year since we've released Unhappy Campers, 4 years since we filmed Unhappy Campers, and I'm Dan DeHaan, writer, director, editor. And joining me today is, let's start with you, Kim.
I'm Kim Bawalda, and I played Stacy.
Okay, and John.
I'm John Price, and I was just the groupie that hung around the set and did whatever I could do.
You did sound and all that stuff too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, did sound, held some cameras, just
That
helped
kind
you
of
in any way I could.
Okay, and Ashley.
And I'm Ashley Hileski, and I was Tina.
And finally, the guy with his profile picture and the terrible internet and old computer, Adam.
Yay. I am Adam Reese, and I was the financer of this whole shindig. No, actually, I was Chaz.
All right, and so let's get started, everybody. Just a little bit of background on the movie. It was written over the period of about 2 months, so I spent that much time writing it. And as far as production is concerned, we scheduled 4 days to film the movie, 4 full days, so probably 15 to 17-hour days. Then we had about a half day of pickups and reshoots, and during that time, between the regular shooting and the pickups, Adam, you put on 20 pounds, right? So you kind of ruined that scene of the movie.
It was awesome. Yeah,
So
I couldn't fit into my pants anymore. It was awesome. Well, I lost like 25, 30 pounds just before, because I knew I was 30 and I had to play an 18-year-old. So and then after that, I just like, screw it. I'm not going to be on camera anymore.
Well, didn't you rip your pants on set?
Yeah, I got him a new pair of pants that were actually a little bit bigger. The gray shorts that he wore that were disgusting. And he ripped the original pair. I bought him a new pair, and those were... he was heaving through them. So
It's pretty sexy.
the camel toe throughout the movie was disgusting. Or whatever that was. That's moose knuckle, isn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, we just want to talk about the experiences during shooting times. I think one thing a lot of people want to know is like how much it costs to make the movie, and I think I spent about $1,000, maybe. Yeah, just about that. I mean, I bought the camera, but I've done a lot of photography with that camera already, so that paid for itself basically. But we spent money on wardrobe and things like that. So let's just go around and talk about what are some of your thoughts on, you know, those days of shooting? What were you thinking before, and then finally when we actually started shooting?
Originally, I was thinking that it was going to be a lot of fun, but it was really hell and torture. No, it was fun. Like, I mean, the people that we worked with, met new friends, and hung out and had many laughs. And, you know, when we weren't on camera, we were just kind of goofing around. But I think there were definitely some days that were challenging, especially probably the first day. The mosquitoes were horrendous in the woods shot that we were just kind of walking around aimlessly.
Yeah, that was the mosquitoes were terrible. We learned that you don't just use regular off, you use deep woods off when you're way into the woods like that.
Now, how deep into the woods were we? I mean, we hiked a couple miles to get into there, didn't we?
So one of the locations. I would say that was a lesson learned too. Don't change location for a shoot right before you're supposed to shoot, because someone says, hey, I got this really cool campgrounds we should go shoot at. It's just like a half-mile in. No, it was 2 miles.
Well, we discovered there was a road.
Yes,
It
later
was
we
a through
did
track, but there was a road afterwards.
yeah. Kim, how about you? It was unique for you because I've grown up with everyone else that was on the film. Adam and I went to school together. John and I had worked together, and Ashley's actually my niece. So, Kim, you were kind of the person that didn't know anybody except me. What brought you to being in the movie?
Well, an ex-boyfriend.
I meant more your motivation.
Well, I don't know. It sounded like a lot of fun, and actually, even the night when we met to go through the read-through, I had no idea what the heck a read-through was, or whatever you call it, and I was still debating on how can I get out of this. But it was really cool. I really had such an amazing time, and I'm so glad I did it. It was everyone's so funny, so it was just I had a blast. Even though I hate the woods, I hate being by bugs and spiders, and going to the bathrooms out there was the most disgusting thing I've ever done. But,
Yeah. Ashley, how about you?
Well, I didn't really see the script till about the day before, so that made it a little interesting. Luckily, I had about 4 lines before I got murdered, so that kind of helped out a little bit. But I think I'm still recovering from mosquito bites.
Now, and that was kind of a last-second thing when we asked you to be on the movie. I think you and I were playing board games that night with family, and then I was like, whoa, Ashley could be in this movie. And I asked you.
Like tomorrow.
So, yeah, I think it was it was fun, but it was a very difficult challenge. I think some of the mistakes that I made also made it a little bit harder. I mean, I was learning as we were shooting, and so that made things unique. Like, I should have prepared, I think, more, even.
Now you tell us.
Yeah. So, now, Adam, what has been your past experience with acting?
0, I think, as it is apparent in the short film. No, I was always kind of on the outskirts of the theater group. I was obviously, that I was, into sports and busy with that, but all of my friends were into theater, and you were kind of like the AV crew that I was sort of also associated with, so I was just kind of involved with all that extracurricular stuff.
Now, John, was this your first experience with filmmaking?
Yeah, filmmaking. I think you asked me to help out on this because about a couple months prior, I had just started getting into photography, and you said, "Hey, you should check this out. Give it a try. Help me out on this movie set." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it."
And Kim, how about you? You acted before at all?
absolutely not.
Well, and I'd say, some of the YouTube comments, we'll talk a little bit more about that, but have been particularly nasty, and one of the things they mention are the actors. Ugh, so.
Hey,
But
Dan, do you have a lot of itches?
What's that?
Scratching incessantly.
Sorry, yes.
Anyways.
But I would say that I thought you guys did a great job, and I think some people are just being overcritical that way.
All the 14-year-old YouTubers.
Yes. So, what stood out to you as the most difficult thing about the experience? We'll start with you, Kim.
The most difficult thing? I think when everyone's watching you while you're trying to act like you're scared or you're crying or something, and yeah, so I make a lot of weird faces, and so it's kind of hard for me to know what I'm looking like and does it look right, and I kind of wish that I would have maybe practiced in the mirror or saw the footage right away so I could see, like, okay, does that look stupid? Because I would do stuff and I didn't know what I'm looking like.
Well, and I think definitely you can see from the footage from the first day that we shot, which was you guys arriving at the campgrounds. I saw a huge difference from that first day to the last day that we shot in your acting in particular. You just seem more comfortable and more confident by the end. Was that the case for you?
Yeah, well, and I think when you get more comfortable with everyone else too, you just kind of, it's a little bit easier too. So.
Now, Ashley, you made the best of your smaller part. What did you find to be the hardest thing about acting?
I think, like Kim said, it's kind of the same thing that, yeah, I know a lot of you guys and stuff like that, but it's like your uncle's older friends that you're like making these weird faces or pretending you're going to get murdered in a camera for 30 seconds, fake crying, that you don't really know what you look like or anything. So I didn't have to realize if I just use my facial expressions more to my advantage.
Now, Adam, you took a more unique approach, I think, to some of the different scenes. What was your approach to acting?
Try to be as schizophrenic on screen as possible and not have one character but several different ones. No, my approach. I tried to prepare by watching a lot of The Hills, the reality show.
All right.
I did, and the main guy with the flesh-colored beard was my inspiration. I couldn't tell you his name.
Spencer Pratt, yeah.
Oh God, of course you know that. But yeah, I think it came through. Hopefully.
No, you were very specific though. There were some scenes that you were channeling actors and characters, weren't there?
Mostly just my douchiness. Like I just let it fly.
Now I'm calling this out though. Wasn't there Jim Carrey specifically in some scenes?
I mean, if I did it, it wasn't conscious. I mean, I'm a big fan of Jim Carrey, specifically the Cable Guy, and I'm animated, and so I guess maybe you could be right on point with that one.
Now, I think one of the biggest things was the exhaustion, trying to squeeze all of that into 4 days. It was actually a lot, and we went to a lot of different locations. How did you feel, Kim, by the end of the 4 days?
Oh, well, I was really tired, and I had to drive quite a long way to get there and back, so, yeah. I don't know. It feels like so long ago, but I just remember being really tired, like I needed another vacation from it. I mean, they were long days, but it was still pretty fun, and I definitely slept well.
And that should be noted too that we all took time off of work to actually do this.
Yeah.
No.
John, how about you? What did you think by the end of it?
I was cautiously optimistic that the whole thing was going to come together in the end. It was a neat experience to be involved with, but like I had never seen this whole process run through from beginning to end, and how you shoot everything out of order, and I was just curious to know how you were going to edit this all together and just make it work. So
that was something in editing in scheduling the shoot. It actually came down to what was the most logical for travel. Just and then trying to schedule around weather and just know that it might rain this day, so we have to potentially shoot indoors or something like that.
Now we lucked out pretty well, right? We didn't have any rain.
Yeah, we really did luck out, I think, with the weather.
I think the hottest day was the day that you crammed everybody into that Trans Am, so...
I hated that Trans Am. I was sitting on a seat that was not a seat, so it was like this big hump, and I had to act like I was not on the hump, so I was like slouching down. I was the worst ever. I'm
surprised nobody pointed out that Trans Ams do not have 3 seats in the back.
Yeah. Because I made it look like it did. No, I don't know. It hurt.
That speaks to what an amazing actress you were.
Oh, yeah. I just love how Jason, who plays Steve, would always hit the seat up against
Oh my gosh.
the what's
Oh
it
my
called?
gosh.
The the horn, yeah, the car horn. So that was so funny.
Yeah, that should be noted that Jason, Sam,
Pat.
Jason played Steve, and Pat played Barry. Now, which was a weird thing that we want to mention. It was just I liked Pat as an actor. You know, I've seen him do a lot of. He'd been in videos that I've done in school, and he's made his own videos. He went to school for telecommunications. I really wanted him to be in this movie, and I just wanted him, you know, to play that character. So that's why we forced him into being Stacy's adopted brother. I think I had an idea of everyone that I wanted to be in the film. So, like, I think the character of Chaz, I definitely was like Adam. I thought of him when I was writing it.
Gee, thanks.
You're welcome. But yeah, and then basically Pat. Now I don't know why we did the curly wig with him, but he looked hilarious with that wig.
I think his normal hair is can be just as funny though. He could have pulled that off.
All right. So, and that, you know, that was throughout the week. It just, as we shot more and more, you know, there was a ton of tension, you know, starting to build. I mean, people were kind of at their emotional ends, I think.
Can I backtrack to Pat real quick?
Yeah.
One of the things that I wish he was here, because one of the things that I thought was absolutely great about having him in the movie and on the set were all the unintentional things that he did that actually ended up being in the movie. With like eating the kudos and leaving wrappers, and I mean just those little things that he did that you didn't script, so I guess they were kind of just added in, but they fit so well, and they just fit the character.
He ate a lot of kudos bars. I don't know why, but he just always had a kudos, and we just kind of started going with it, and we were like, keep eating the kudos, throw the wrappers, do all that. But we actually, I mean, at one point we got into a little battle royale at one point because we were just so exhausted. I mean, everyone was tired and on edge. Oh, someone's got a fan blowing. There we go. So then, speaking to a little of the post-production, it sounds like it's Adam.
I got nothing.
What?
I have a fan?
Or a vacuum?
Yeah, someone vacuuming at your house?
Oh no, it's just my computer. It's really old and crappy, so the fan is in the computer.
You're on some compact Presario or something?
No, it's a Mac, but it's just like 8 years old.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
So as far as post-production, it took years. It took a lot of time to edit the film. So what were you guys thinking? Were you considering, is this movie ever going to come out?
Yeah, I was shocked.
Yeah, I was thinking it probably would never come out.
And then at one point I asked you guys to, a couple of you to come back and film some more. Kim, it was you and Sam. We filmed some pickups. Between the two of you, there was a chase scene.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I'm kind of glad you did some of those. I mean, it was kind of cool, him throwing the knife, and then shooting the gun. But yeah, it was kind of hard to like go back and do it. I don't know. I was kind of nervous that it would making sure I looked the same, or like my hair. I don't know. I was worried it wouldn't be flowing right, but it seemed like it was okay. And it still fit into my clothes, thank goodness.
Adam.
What? What did I do? Oh, I get it.
I think the issue was that as I was editing, I felt like the first half of the movie felt really cohesive and felt like, you know, it flowed really well. and then the movie just basically ended. You know, there was
Yeah.
no suspense, no tension, nothing. And so that's why we decided to add that whole, you know, a lot more to the chase scene. And it was pretty ridiculous, too, I would say.
Yeah.
Anything else that you guys can think of that went on during the movie, reminiscing about the time that we shared together?
In the diner. Definitely in the diner with the server, and how you had to dub over his laugh incessantly. I thought that actually added to that scene, the creepy laugh.
Well, that's funny you mentioned that, because that was something we were going to bring up. We almost completely cut the diner because it just was not working. And
I
at
bet
some
you
point,
spent a ton of time on that.
I spent a ton of time editing it, and it finally got to the point where I was like, I have to make this as corny as possible, and so that's why I did all that stuff.
But my favorite off-screen moment was, I think it was day one. Sam was skipping rocks across the river, and somebody bet him something that if he could get a rock across the river, he would do this to him. And he got the rock across the river by throwing it
Rather than skipping it.
That was probably one of my favorite off-screen moments. There were a lot of just funny things that happened that obviously didn't make it into the film because it wasn't a comedy. I think the blooper reel really kind of showed that.
Yeah, the blooper reel had a lot of the good moments that happened to be captured on film. Like the unintentionally sexy delivery by Kim, which was
Oh my God.
pretty funny.
I didn't know why you guys were laughing at me at all. Like, I had no idea why. And I think I struggled a couple times doing that because I didn't realize I was doing it that way. And that's another thing. Like, when you're doing it, I guess, just from lack of acting skills, I didn't know I was coming off that way, I guess.
Ashley, how about you?
Sorry, I was zoning out. What were you talking about there?
We were just wondering if there were any experiences during the filming that you think of fondly.
Probably laying on that pee mattress, and that blooper reel, and I'm like, this really smells like pee, and you're like, yeah. It's like, also, I've fallen on this mattress like 15 times already. And the wafting odor every time I fell back on it.
My favorite scene is Ashley's death scene. I thought she did such an excellent job. Getting gutted.
Yeah.
You know what I
There were those intestines, Dan. Can you
What
share
was
the
that?
recipe? Can you share the recipe for the intestines?
Oh, the intestines was a cool recipe that we found. It was pantyhose filled with paper towel that had been soaked in Jell-O overnight, red Jell-O, and then we poured Caro syrup and red dye over it. And so that was the recipe for the intestines. Yeah, I'd say. Hello, puppy. Sorry.
Sorry.
Some of my fondest memories, I think, we shot in Saugatuck, Michigan, and just that location. I don't know why, but I had a good time in the house with everyone.
Was that like on the last day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we did some of that on day 3, didn't we?
Yes.
I thought we were out there twice.
Yeah, we were.
But the last day, even when you were doing just those like pickup sounds, just the we'll be there in a minute or whatever those were. You know, everybody could there was no camera, just audio, so everybody could just kind of be themselves for a little bit.
Do you guys remember that creepy, like, it wasn't an altar, but it was like an abandoned outdoor church in the woods?
Yeah, I remember that.
No.
It was like in a circle, like an empty pasture with like trees all around it.
Yeah, it was like in the middle of
a
nowhere.
sacrificial circle of something.
Huh.
Now, my
don't
nephew
remember that.
Christopher was living in that house. That was how we got a hold of that house.
Not that house. It was the last day in Saugatuck, and it was like an outdoor church that hadn't
Oh.
been used in years.
It was on that property, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It sounds spooky, though.
I wish I remembered it.
Now, you didn't edit out the satellite dish on that house, did you?
No, I didn't. There were a few things that did not match the era that the movie was supposed to be in. One of them was Adam's Alice in Chains tattoo.
What? I just got it a week before, right in time.
Yeah, thanks. So, yeah, I think some of the lessons learned, definitely the diner scene, that was really difficult because some of the customers, we got permission to shoot there, and some of the customers started complaining about our lights, and so the owner just started getting on our case about shooting there. So that was kind of difficult. I'm not sure why they got so upset, but that was a little annoying. So we really squeezed what was supposed to be a 3-hour shoot into about an hour and a half.
And the diner has like 4 tables. Who was even there?
Yeah.
I also forgot to mention before we shot that scene that I have a lifetime ban on that establishment, so that probably factored in as well.
Oh, please tell us what happened.
I'm totally making it up.
Oh, all right. I just wouldn't be surprised if you did.
What is that supposed to mean?
That means you're kind of shady.
Whoa.
Hey. So, moving on to some of the lessons learned, the biggest thing was plan more up front. Storyboard everything. I did not storyboard enough, and I should have more. I think I would have felt more prepared. Visit the locations beforehand, because that makes it a lot more difficult if you're just showing up at this campground for the first time and not knowing what it's like. Also, you know, I thought Jason and Pat did such a great job, but they weren't local, so that was harder.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, there's some stuff I would have shot more with Pat that I couldn't because he lives, you know, in D.C. and Jason lives in L.A., so it was that made things harder. So get local actors for sure is some advice I could have. And then also know your limits as far as what you can do. I think we were able to do it, but we really pushed probably more than, you know, what we were capable of. You know, what we would have realized if we knew it was going to be as hard as it was.
So what you're getting at is you have projects in the future that you have in mind?
I actually do. I have some other projects that I've thought about doing. There's some ideas. I'd really like to do a sci-fi film, like a bad sci-fi film.
Mm.
So, and this is just actually my way of asking you guys. So, would you guys act again? Would you do this again?
Sure, why not? It's been long enough. Enough time has passed that I forgot how shitty it was.
Kim, would you do it again?
I would. I think I'd want to do a little practicing before, like actually prepare for it, because I really went in not even really looking at the script, like Ashley said. I really didn't even know what it was about much. So.
You were also our on-set continuity director.
Yeah, I'm really big into details, and once I saw the script better and we were there, I started like picking apart everything, and I think I started to annoy you, but I would like point out, wait a minute, like this is weird, and so.
Yeah, you wanted to know like the motivation behind people. Like, this doesn't even make sense. Why would they do that?
Yeah, like why would he say that, or why? Yeah. So.
And then I had to explain to everyone I said those things. Like most of the lines in the movie is stuff that I've said in my life before. Besides Adam's homophobic remarks earlier in the movie. Yeah.
No offense to homophobes.
Ashley, how about you? Would you be in another movie?
Yeah, I'd definitely do it again. Fun experience.
John?
I would help you on anything, Dan. I'm impressed with everything you do, so I would follow you to any project.
Nice. What about, since the movie's been released, have any of your friends or family seen the movie? Kim, you?
Yeah, most of my friends and family have seen it, and they've said all good things, but, I mean, they're my friends and family. Yeah.
Ashley?
Yeah, I think pretty much all my friends and family have seen it too. I kind of had to explain it to them because I kind of just watched it, and they were like trying to be nice, like it was like a little bit cheesy, and I was like, no, it's supposed to be like I think I thought it was like supposed to be a super serious movie, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, I always
kinda
started with
thought-
that.
Letting them know that it's supposed to be cheesy?
Yeah, I told everyone that. Yeah.
Does that mean maybe we didn't do enough cheese?
I don't know.
I don't know how you
Adam,
could watch that and think it was in any way supposed to be serious.
Yeah, that I was kind of I felt that way. I felt like it was, more obvious, but people do wonder. Like, we have a YouTube commenter that said didn't scare me at all or something. I'm 7 and this didn't scare me.
That was my favorite comment, actually.
So let's move on to that too, since we've released the movie. We found out that YouTube is really brutal.
Yeah.
I think we already knew that.
Well, I mean, this is really the first time I'd put anything out there that for the masses to see, and it was just like, I've got a thick skin, so I can handle it, but I was just surprised at some of the awful stuff that people say.
Yeah.
Does anyone have some favorite comments that were posted?
I like the comments, or there's only one I think of, about kicking someone's ass, and I want to beat him up so bad. I thought that was fun, and the slut comment, that was good too.
The porn star one, is that what you're talking about?
Yes. There was more than one, wasn't there?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I at least it wasn't like, if I felt like I looked like a porn star in some way, then maybe I'd be offended, but that doesn't even make sense to me.
I now
Maybe they
almost
saw the blooper reel.
Yeah.
No, I was kidding.
I almost regret putting those comments on there.
Oh, no.
No.
I think my favorite comment was recent. Someone said, "Who made this? Apes?"
Okay.
And I think that's just because I like monkeys so much too. So.
Yeah.
Also, just some other people just took the time to write "crap!" exclamation point. I think someone else said "shit."
There were some people that kind of defended it, though, or were saying, like, if you have nothing nice to say, just don't say anything. So I think they sort of have our back.
And I have no regrets writing those comments.
I actually enjoyed the dude in green is the fattest skinny person I have ever saw.
Ashley, do you have any favorites?
Oh, I probably have to say the line about the bathing suit, which I did buy the day of at Goodwill. Let's just clarify that.
What is that, a One Piece?
Yeah, that blue one. I kind of miss it. Wonder where it's at.
Oh,
So,
well,
I will
is
say
so
that,
nerve-wracking.
and I actually cut that scene too.
Yeah,
Thank you.
cut
Thank
back
you
on
very
it.
much.
Well, and you got some really good comments too, though. I mean, just a lot of. I mean, I think my Slaughterhouse Films was one of my favorite, where they basically told you this needs more publicity. This is like awesome work.
And really, I enjoy the negative comments, just from some of the people are pretty funny in their brutality. But overall, it's gotten a lot of good feedback, and people have said a lot of good things. I like the comparisons to the original Friday the 13th. I mean, that was like, all right, you guys got it. You got what this was about.
Mm-hmm.
Has anybody come up to you and said, you're scaring the fish? Because I've had people do that. It's kind of the catchphrase that came from the movie.
I did have one.
Oh, did you? Did you know the person?
Yeah, it was my friend's dad. It was a little awkward. We were just like sitting there, and he was like, "You're scaring the fish," and I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "So thank you watched it?"
I am also careful though, like because I've got my grandma watched it, so that was weird, and she's in her 80s, so. But overall, you know, I think that's something for people, anyone considering putting out a video, making a movie. Be ready, because you're going to get more feedback than you want, and a lot of it will, you know, not be very kind.
I think the people that got it, though, they supported it.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any advice for anybody thinking about making a film or acting? Start with you, Adam.
I knew you were going to do that. You know, I think you got to be really passionate about it to enjoy it. And I think the people that make films, whether they're on YouTube or in movie theaters, do that. So that's the only advice. If you like it, do it. I mean, there's bound to be people that are going to watch it and like it as much as you do.
Ashley, how about you?
I would say just don't stress yourself out too much about focusing on every little detail. Just be yourself. It just makes it so much easier if you're worried about what everyone's going to think or how you're going to come off. And you just act yourself, and it just comes off so much more natural.
John?
Probably don't give up. I think there were probably a lot of points in making this that you probably didn't even want to finish it. And I know you took some time to step away from it and come back to it later, but I think it's huge. Like, just don't give up on it. If it's something you started out to do, finish it, because you'll be so much happier in the end.
I agree.
Well, one of the tricks, though, is knowing when you're finished, right, Dan? I mean, I think that's something you've said to me before, that you have a hard time with that, calling something done, because you'll just tweak it till the end.
Yeah, I think that's hard for any artist, that to know when to call it done, because there were so many changes I could have continued to make on this, and it just got to the point where I was like, I set a deadline for myself, and I had to have it done by then. 3 years later.
Can I change my advice?
Sure.
I would like to negate everything I just said, and my actual advice would be to not underestimate the amount of time that it will take, especially in editing.
Agreed.
Yes.
I agree.
Because there's so many problem spots that come out when you're editing, whether it's, you know, this take was too quiet, or this person rubbed up against a tree and he's not supposed to do that. There's just, you know, so many things that, as an editor, which I have a little bit of experience with, it can drive you nuts and can make you pull your hair out. But you just got to plan for that amount of time that's going to take to create something that you're satisfied with.
You know, and I completely agree with that. There were even little things that it took me studying a lot of things on TV and seeing, like I was getting too caught up on the quality, and I was like, there were a couple of shots with you in the diner that they were moments for me, like I actually had to zoom in and pan so that it would make it look like you were actually looking where you should have been looking.
I blame the director.
It was the director's fault. But those little things where you learn these little tricks to fix your footage, Like, so, because you can't get more, so what do you do to fix it? And there are just little tricks that you can do to fix the footage that you shot. Whether it's, if you got to zoom in and pan, it might not be as crystal clear, but that stuff happens. That happens on every film. You don't have the light right, you know, those kind of things.
Or you run out of money, and you just got to cover things up.
Kim, how about you? Do you have any advice for people?
Oh, I think just have fun with it, and I think preparation, and if, like, when you did the script and everything, I don't know if you showed it to someone else to have a fresh set of eyes, but that kind of stuff is probably good to do.
Definitely, and I did. I have a couple of friends that are writers, and
Mm-hmm.
I just sent it to them, and you know, that was they gave me feedback on it, so that was very helpful.
Yeah.
I would say that my advice to people, you know, just I read a book called Shut Up and Shoot, and I think that's the thing. It was like, you can talk about it all you want. You can talk about doing a movie, and there's just a million reasons of why not to do it. There's a million excuses of why not to actually film something, and just get out there and start shooting. Write and shoot and study. You know, study other filmmakers and the tricks they do. So I think that's the biggest, like, just do it and keep practicing.
Yeah.
Well, so I'd like to just thank everyone then for coming on, and I don't know, hopefully there was something in this that someone could take away from it.
Hey, what gear did you use to shoot?
Oh, good question. Used a Canon 7D with a 50mm lens for the whole movie. That was pretty much it. And then you had a different, like, HD cam that we just recorded sound directly to.
Yeah.
So, and then also just want to like, Aaron Wiesinger did the special effects, the digital effects, and I think he did a great job. That was a learning experience for him as well. So, if you do want to find someone if you're making your first film and you want to find someone to do special effects, find someone that's learning and needs something, you know, to learn with. Find a student, someone that is looking for experience, and because they're usually the cheap ones. So.
But so are hobos, so.
I came close to getting a hobo to act in the film, so. So, everyone, thank you then very much for spending some time with me, and hope everyone on Halloween will watch Unhappy Campers again. That it'll be a part of your regular holiday viewing.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So hopefully all of us will work together soon. I do have some ideas, and we'll get to that point that we can make another movie.
Awesome.
Maybe you guys will get paid this time, too.
What?
All right. See you guys.
All right. Bye.
Yeah.